So, welcome back, everybody. Today's episode is not just a conversation about the breath work, not about fasting or even health. It's a pure conversation about human potential itself. So, my guest here today is Michael Ferguson, also known as Mikey Breaths, a life expansionist who exploring some of the deepest questions surrounding energy, regeneration, consciousness, longevity, and many others. And what this, from my side, truly means to live in alignment with nature and human evolution by itself. So throughout the years of experimentation, travel, discipline, and breathwork, fasting as well, not to forget, and conscious living, Michael has dedicated his life to discovering how human beings can regenerate themselves much more faster, have access to a greater level of energy, heighten also the awareness, and ultimately expand the way we experience life itself. He has also documented many of these practical, foundational step-by-step methods inside his work known as the Life Guide. So this is a philosophy and a system he designed to help people reconnect with their body, with their mind, with their energy, and also make the deeper awareness and connection with their body itself. So in this episode, we are going to go a little bit far beyond just the surface. So we are going to explore uh, some areas of suffering, the identity, the modern conditioning, about the human energy, the masculinity, stillness, the healing, the purpose, and the deeper truths that many people feel but rarely stop long enough to confront. So wherever you are in the part of the world listening to us, so take a deep breath, slow down, and enjoy this profound conversation with Michael Ferguson here. Michael, welcome to the Let's Get Movie podcast. It's a real pleasure to have you on board here, my friend.
And then I love you so much, dude. Let's dive in. I am ready.
Me too, my friend. So, Michael, so before people knew you as a Mikey Breaths, before the fasting, before the breathwork thing, the philosophy. So, who were you really as a young man internally?
It's a living soul in a body, man. Experiencing all the stuff out, looking at my fingers, looking at my holes, looking at, what's in the reflection of the mirror, and just experiencing the
Yeah.
same reality that you guys are, but having a different interpretation of it. So the interpretation that you apply towards your approach guarantees the effect that you're about to experience. So whatever interpretation you have, whatever perception that you're engaging in is going to be a direct correlation of what you're about to experience in reality. So I want the
True.
best reality. So I'm adjusting it in real time, my perception and my interpretation, so I can experience more of what life actually is. And I've been doing that since the age of 6 all the way to now 37.
Wow. But when you look back now, do you think your younger self was searching for health or searching for freedom? So what do you think was the difference back then?
Everything. I was searching for everything. I'm searching for what life is. I was reaching out. I was extending. There is no myopic thing. There is no singular point. There is no like one thing. I'm looking for everything, man, because I am
Yeah.
everything. If it's too cold, I'm gonna look for the heat. If it's too small, I'm gonna look for the space. If it's too like hard, I'm gonna look for the soft, or too soft, I'm gonna look for the hard. So I am a mechanism going through reality, looking for all things because reality is trying to give me all of itself. So even as a child, I understood that. So I would look for entertainment, love, peace, health, fitness. I look for everything, and I'm still looking at everything. But once you obtain something, that's where the dissatisfaction starts, or like is at least implied, and you have to go to the next. Life is a continuum. At 6 years old, I don't know if you heard like my story before. I got touched by an older girl, which set me on a whole course of life. And I didn't have my mom in my life, and my grandma's boyfriend almost drowned me. And I was looking for security and safety. I went to go live with my stepdad, but he wasn't there. So now I was looking for companionship, company, this connection. I grew up alone pretty much from the age of 7, roughly to like 16-ish. Just no brothers, no sisters, no mother, stepdad working and everything else. So it was me isolated in a very poverty-stricken space by myself, and I was looking for connection. I was looking for what to be, but there was no one there. So all I had was myself. So through that, I've been finding myself through everything.
Yes. So was that the period of time that you start questioning everything that society told you about, that we know about happiness, about success and well-being? So what was the process of you? Um, was there maybe a specific moment, whether it's like emotionally, spiritually, or even physically, where you felt your whole identity is going to collapse right now, that you have to change something about yourself?
I mean, I never really thought about that because, like, there's no such thing as collapse. There's no such thing as collapse. Like, I've never collapsed in a sense. Like, and a collapse would only be the indicator of a weak infrastructure. So if it collapses, good, let it fall because that shows you the problem area anyway. It wasn't going to stand anyway. So if it's going to collapse, just get it over with. And I've kind of been that guy.
Yeah.
Like, even going into like getting shots in school and all this other stuff. I'm like, man, if I'm gonna get the shot, get the shot. If I gotta do the thing, do the thing. If I gotta go through the pain, just rip the band-aid off. Because I'd rather it happen now than just drag out, you know? So even as a kid, I grew up. So like, okay, I went to go live with my stepdad, right? My stepdad was like 50 and I'm like 7. So all of his
Yeah.
friends were like 50 plus, 50 years old, 60. And there's some dudes who were like almost like bordering 70 years old. So as a 7-year-old kid, I'm hanging out with old dudes all day, right? So that was my friends. I've always had an older mindset. I've always had an older mind. I've always had I guess you would say, a more mature mindset even to the point where I developed that and it expanded. And in that expanse, I ended up becoming my father's keeper, telling him like, "Yo, bro, we got to do this way." As I started becoming his leader. So even at a young age of 7, 8 years old, I became the leader of my own life to the point where like if that's the way I got to go, let's just go through it, right? So there was never a point of collapse. There was never a point of okay, am I going to do this or not? It's like, well, I there's no turning back. The ships are burned, the bridges collapsed. Like I got to go through this anyway, so I might as well. And because of that, I have a very tenacious spirit. I'm very encouraged. I'm very have a lot of aspirations, but more so ambition. And because of that, I'm looking for things in my life, even to this day, to collapse. Like, where's my weak points so I can expose them? And if they can collapse, let's collapse it right now. So there wasn't really a point in where, like, okay, I got to change or this is going to happen. I was always already looking for the change. I want to change. I will let my old part of me die out so a new part can rise from the ashes or be, the seed can actually grow. And I'm still looking for that today. So it started at 6. When the girl touched me at 6, that was a wake up call. I started changing. And my grandma's boyfriend almost drowned me at 7. That was a wake up call. And I was like,
Wow.
whoa, when I was home alone by myself, when I was 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I'm like, yo, I've constantly been expanding and reaching out. And from that, I've carried that practice into today, or that approach of life into today.
Well, that's amazing, because most of the people, I heard this quote that the society eventually is going to break everybody. And practically you need something like this, because from that breakiness, you're going to stand up and evolve. But most of the people, they decide, not to come back. So what made you decide to listen to your suffering instead of escaping it, specifically because you were very young?
Yeah, and I discovered this at a very young age. Like suffering is not real. It's all the interpretation of it. So like I actually see suffering as pain. I'm sorry, pain. What would be considered suffering and pain as pleasure. I'm a masochist now. Not that I'm purposely trying to go and cause physical damage to myself. I'm the opposite. I actually want to preserve myself and build myself up. But I'm looking
Yeah,
for what people would consider a suffering part of my life to expose it because you can only get regenerated. You can only get healed if you're looking for the pain. If you're
yeah,
hiding the pain, you're considering it like suffering and stuff like that, you avoid it and you avoid it, it stays. So I'm actually looking for that pain, not so I can just feel pain, but because I can transmute that into power. So in a sense, it's not really suffering, it's just the interpretation. So it's not really suffering. It's the way that we're processing. It's not really suffering. It's the indicator to tell us the choices that we've made thus far. That suffering is not suffering. That suffering is actually me. I made that choice that led to this event. Now, if I call it suffering, now it's excluded from me. It's disconnected. I'm disassociated with it. Oh, that's suffering. But that
yeah,
event there that we call suffering is actually me staring myself back from the choices I made. And whenever I can embrace that, I can absorb it and then I become stronger, empowered by it. So instead of the suffering causing dread and hopelessness, the suffering actually shows me myself, which gives me more power. It makes me indomitable. So it's not suffering, it's the interpretation of it, but it's the event that shows me myself.
yeah. So when it comes to that awakening, and when you interpreted the breathing work into your work, when did the breath first stop becoming an unconscious, how should I say, a survival mechanism, and become something that it's very sacred to you? When was the moment that you just switched to that conscious work?
Well, that's so beautiful, man. Ivan, thank you for asking me these wonderful questions. This is so awesome. For me, Personally, I really consider nothing sacred. I don't like, because the thing is, the moment we value this, it causes all these attachments to it, and then we end up worshiping this thing, and we lose ourselves in the worship of this thing because this is sacred, but this is not. No, when I take a
Yeah.
crap and I poop in the toilet, that's sacred. If I go into sort of to a temple, that's sacred. If I shake the hand of a homeless man, that's sacred. If I breathe, it's sacred. So since everything's sacred, nothing's actually sacred. So everything I'm going through has the value, and whenever I approach it with that interpretation, all of life gives its power to me. So the moment I disassociate or I put into a category that is, but this is not, this is idolatry. We start worshiping these things and we fall under the guise of, and that actually puts people to sleep. There's a lot of spiritual people who are actually asleep. When I talk to spiritual people, I'm like, bro, there's no lights on in there. They're just reciting the same thing. Kundalini 5D, awakening, Reiki, Reiki, Reiki. Hello, are you there? Reiki, bro, Reiki, Reiki, Kundalini 5D, 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 New Earth, Age of Aquarius. Hello, I just asked you your name. Aquarius, Age of Aquarius. I'm like, that person's still asleep. So it's almost like automatic responses, like buzzwords and stuff like that. But when you understand, every age is beautiful. The golden age, age of Aquarius, 5D, 2D, 3D, 3G, 6G, all G's, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, and you see it for what it is. There is no sacred, there is no profane, but there's just life itself. And when you embrace that, you live it. And that's where it starts, by making nothing sacred. It's all beautiful.
Yeah, you're totally right about it because the most of the people they're even not aware of that breathing. So when we breathe, of course, and you brought it to a whole another level. And I was just amazed by all of the stories that you mentioned on your social media platforms. But what the breathing revealed to you about the human mind that most of the people never notice. So this is what I'm very curious about.
100%. Well, the only way to engage in something, in the observation, awareness, interpretation of anything is through conscientiousness. And the
Yeah,
very thing that powers your consciousness on this realm or wherever we are, earth, planet, realm, flat, whatever, bro, plane, is air. Air
yeah,
is the power mechanism, the fuel source of the brain. Yeah, it runs off of glycogen and some stuff like that, but primarily oxygen. You
yeah,
are a gas being, bro. You're full of farts and burps and all this other stuff, and so is your brain. Your brain runs off of gas. So you can go a month without eating, right? Like people like fast and they've gone a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 40 days, whatever. So, it's a
yeah,
number. Ego pride. I've done a 40-day fast. Who cares, bro? It doesn't even matter,
yeah,
right? The human body
yeah,
can go roughly 30 days without having to eat. It can go roughly 7 days without having to drink water. But you can't go over 30 minutes, even minutes without breathing. It's that crucial. It's the most important component of your experience in this realm. You must breathe every single second. You breathe while you sleep. You don't
that's,
drink while you sleep. You don't eat while you sleep, but you make sure you breathe while you sleep. That breath, every breath in, fuels your mind to engage with the assignment in front of you so you can correctly interpret what it is. So to have this experience, this understanding, and this awareness is completely dependent upon the quality of breath that you just took that engages you and makes you connected with the moment that you're experiencing. When you have an ample supply of fuel source and energy, you're able to deconstruct what it actually is, see it for what it is, and then fulfill it. Every moment, every sequence, every second, every minute, every instance, bad, good, negative, suffering, blessing, pleasure, completely is derived from your ability to properly inhabit it while it's here, because this
yeah,
won't last forever. Good will not last forever. Bad will not last forever. Suffering won't last forever. Pain won't last forever. Pleasure and opulence won't last forever. So it's our duty as living conscious beings to make sure that we have ample supplies of fuel so we can embody the fullness of it. When I was in pain, I felt every bit of it. And because I felt it, I actually fell in love with it. When I was in euphoria and bliss and like an orgasmic state, I was present, I was there, and I felt every bit of it because I took the breath. And the breath tells us what this reality is. So that's how important it is. And that's what it does. It reveals all information because reality wants to be seen. Consciousness wants to be known. God wants you to find it. It's
yeah,
it's not hiding, but it's just that we're so turned off we don't see it. But it wants to be found. It's the lover who wants, like if you're young love, right? Women, men, they play this game of cat and mouse. Women want to be pursued. They want to be seen in the same way. So does life. Life is the woman that we're chasing, and it's leaving clues for us. It's wanting to reveal itself to us. Wisdom wants to be seen. So we have to pursue it. And whenever we do, it tells us everything about this stuff. And whenever you embrace it and it gives you this wisdom, you can go 280 days, 290 days without eating. You can go 6 years without working out and still grow muscles. You can go and be 37, but look better than your 20-year-old self. I look like my 19-year-old self. When you have two pictures side by side, when I was 19, I look closer to my 19-year-old self now than my 28-year-old self looking to my 19-year-old self. I look older at 28 than I do at 37. At 37, I look at my 19-year-old self. That's because wisdom wants to reveal herself to me. She's calling me to her bedroom. She's saying, come here. But if I'm not conscious, if I don't breathe, if I'm not even aware of what breath is, I'll never
Yeah,
know her.
of course. And I totally agree with you when you said that we are nowadays the most disconnected that we ever were.
I
Uh,
didn't. I don't.
but
I don't know if nowadays we are, because there's some pretty amazing technological feats out there. So I'm not saying that we are disconnected.
Mhm.
I'm just saying, like, if we're unaware of this, we will be disconnected. I think everyone has a time period of being disconnected. But I think if
Yes,
anything, we're
but
probably the most connected, at least in the past 50 to 100 years we've ever been. So I think right now we're
okay.
probably the most connected in a way.
All right. But okay, I will reframe that question. So do you believe that the people are mostly exhausted from all of the workload and the stress that we're having on a daily basis? I wanted to say that maybe they are disconnected from their own life force, as you said, what truly means to be living in a form.
I actually think that people are in such a gracious place right now. They have the ability to question their own existence.
Yeah.
And that weight of like, oh, I'm exhausted is the very evidence they have enough space to even think about it. Because
True.
whenever the Industrial Revolution came around, there were child laborers and
Yeah.
kids thrown into the
Yeah.
workforce at 5, 6, 7. They didn't have time to think, I'm tired. They just were so occupied. So if anything, they were more disconnected because they couldn't even ask the question in the beginning. But now we
Yeah.
have technology. Everything's so easy. If I want some food, I can just order it on my phone. It'll be brought to me. And in that time, I can meditate. So if anything, I think our ability to even question our own exhaustion and our own suffering shows that we're in such an enlightened moment that we actually have the space to think. It's a very beautiful moment today. In this year, in this
Yeah.
time, we're in the best possible place we could ever be. Because if we reincarnated, we came here, we chose out of every dynasty, every timeline to live in, we chose right here, right now, and we're doing it.
Yeah.
We can even have this conversation through. Where are you in the world right now?
I'm in Austria. I'm based in Austria, in Salzburg,
Austria. I'm
Austria.
in
Yeah.
Nepal. With
Yeah.
two people on two completely different continents can talk in real
Yeah.
time. That is
Yes.
beautiful, man.
Yeah,
It's
for
enlightening.
sure. But the deeper you explore breathing and fasting and the stillness, the meditation, what truths about yourself became impossible to ignore?
I'm a direct influence over this entire realm and reality. That's one
Yeah.
thing. I don't want to be in control. I'm not looking to be in control. When people
Hmm.
see me, they automatically want to make me the leader. Like, if we're playing sports, people look at me like he's team captain. I'm like, me? Like, I don't want to be the leader. I don't want to lead everybody. Stop making me the leaders, guy. And a lot
Yeah.
of people, even before previously in the past, were like, bro, why aren't you more famous? It's like, I don't want to be famous. Like, I don't want to lead people. I want people to be free and independent on their own, to have I don't want to tell people what to do, because I've always believed in freedom all of my life. Because I grew up free, because there's no parents to tell me what to do. There's no brother or sister. I could do whatever I want. And I wanted everyone else to experience that, because people grew up with parents and brothers and sisters and community and stuff like that. They're like, okay, let me go under somebody else and be led. Well, I want to bring everyone into freedom, but whenever I would breathe, it showed me I am the direct response to what's happening in the world right now with everything, all the lockdowns and stuff like that. It is completely coincide with how I'm approaching reality and what I actually desire in my heart. And that was a big thing for me to accept. But the more I accept it, guess what? Now I'm on podcasts. Now people are wanting me to come out and speak. And now all this stuff's happening. Now I'm getting tens of thousands of followers, and people are getting the guide. So like, that was the hardest thing for me to truly accept. But the moment I accepted it, the world started becoming a better place. There's less trails in the sky. There's more blue skies. There's more real clouds. People are happier. So I'm seeing a direct correlation of how I feel in reality to where everyone else is being affected. And that was the biggest and hardest thing.
But
Yeah.
was there ever a moment during your practices where you genuinely felt human and the human potential that was far greater than what we have been conditioned to believe?
Well, I feel the opposite. When I go into these realms, I don't feel human anymore. I don't know if you saw some of my
Yeah.
old, not my old, but my other interviews. My head has started to cone. I have a cone shaped head now. I don't know if you can see it here on camera, but like, there's like a piece
All
of the
right.
back of my skull has been growing out, and that wasn't there before I started this stuff. I didn't have that, and I now have like lumps protruding out the top of my head. I could send you photos. It might be better for the angles and stuff like that. But the more I've gotten to this, the less human I don't feel human anymore at all. I feel like, if anything, we're supposed to not feel human, because that's what we actually are. We're not humans. Humans is a label for an understanding so where everyone can grasp it. But guess what? Once you go and you put a little bit more consciousness into it, or just like a little bit more thought, you are beyond the label you've been given. So human and humanity actually stunts us when we think we're like that. So whenever I go into these breathings and everything else, like I don't feel human anymore. It's so hard to relate with people. It really is. It's the difficulty is actually relating to people, because I see that people cling on to buzzwords. They want to say like, oh, hey, like we're all vegan, or we're all fasters, or we're all spiritual, we're all carnivore, we're all fitness people. It's just like, but those very labels are what hold us to make us human when we're not supposed to be human. You're not
Yeah.
supposed to be human. You're not supposed to do human stuff. You're supposed to be beyond doing these feats, which I'm sure that's why you invited me on today, because, oh, bro,
Yes.
you haven't worked out in
Yes.
6 years. Oh, man, you haven't eaten in almost 300 days. That's not human. Okay, we're not
Yeah.
supposed to be human.
How long? When was your last meal? So how long
Uh,
were you?
yeah, July 25th, 2025. Last
Really?
July. Yeah,
Oh my
that
God.
was my last actual meal. No shakes,
But
no smoothies in between, anything like that.
yeah, but the water is involved, of course. Is it involved?
No, no, water's not involved. A lot of people, and this is a great time. Like anything that you
Hmm.
assume, guys, just ask me. I'm here. I will tell you. A lot of people, okay, so water. No, not water. I don't even fast either. So I don't believe in fasting. I believe fasting is very harmful and actually will hold you back from this life. So I don't drink water. I haven't drunk water maybe in like 5 or 6 months. And I don't believe in fasting either. And I'm not vegan. I'm not carnivore.
Okay.
What else? I don't believe in fitness. I don't take supplements. Yeah, so a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but this is very controversial also to me. So that's why I also invited you, because I wanted to learn from you. You
I love
practically
it.
put everything that also I questioned for the last 15 years upside down. What do long periods of fasting teaches someone primarily emotionally, not just physically, but also physiologically and spiritually, to withstand through all of that, the difficulties that we have to go through?
I so have experienced that if you believe you need to go through difficulties, then life will give you exactly what you want. If you believe you have to suffer, life is like, okay, you believe it? Okay, cool. I don't believe that. I believe that we can experience euphoria day after day and live in eternal bliss and bring heaven down to earth. And like this could be our realm, our Garden of Eden, and every day can be sweeter than the last. And I've experienced that for a consecutive timeline of like 6 years. Like it's only gotten better and 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 better. Bah! And then I'm like, I feel like I'm about to cry every moment because life is so beautiful. But if I believe I need to suffer, I need to strain, I need to hold on, and my miracle's coming, life is like, well, that's what you want. Okay, here, I'll give you the reason to have suffering. I'll give you the reason to have willpower. So a big Buddhist teaching is like impermanence and suffering is mandatory. And I guess a lot of people in Buddhism kind of look like that on their face. But me, I'm the happy monk. I'm like, it's all good, baby. Like, there is no, I don't believe in suffering. And because of that, I mean, it's not that I don't believe that suffering can't happen. A family member dies or this or that. Suffering's it's an event, but it's conceptual. It's a concept. It's an embrace, an interpretation. My family member can die. I could be like, well, they're off in a better place. I'm actually happy. But I can say, oh, my family member died. Oh, how terrible that is. I lost my family member. So it's all the way of approach. So it's not that I don't believe in suffering per se, but I don't believe that we have to suffer, because whatever you engage yourself in, whatever you set yourself upon, reality's giving you that, because reality is so genuine. It's gratuitous. It loves you so much. If you believe you have to use force, if you believe you have to suffer, you will have to use force and stuff. If you believe you have to be poor, reality's like, okay, if you believe that you have to learn your lesson by going to prison or losing a bunch of money or hurting the people around you, reality is like, okay, I agree with you. Reality's always like, yes, and. So because of that, I just believe in bliss, and it's a win-win situation, and we all succeed and we all feel good. We're all elated. We're all happy. And I know it sounds kind of crazy and optimistic, but it's worked for the past 6 years. I've only gotten stronger and better and more beautiful, more vibrant, more youthful, more successful, more wealthy, more happier, more whole. So it's kind of like that. I really don't believe, I don't partake in suffering. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm saying I personally don't dip my fingers in that pool. I'd rather go over there to the jacuzzi versus the pool of suffering.
All right. But I just wanted to figure it out. So this absence of food for the most of the time that you had, does it expose that deeper emotional awareness within the people and within yourself?
Well,
So this is
everybody,
what you're trying
yeah,
to say.
totally, totally. Yeah, I actually have never told anybody not to eat food. That's a big misconception too. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, he must
Yeah.
drink water, he must fast. I'm like, no, I'm not saying that at all. Guys are seeing where I'm at. They're like, oh man, he like, because I'm in Nepal at the moment, right? So I've been traveling the
Yeah.
world for like roughly 6 years. So people see me in Nepal and they're like, oh, well, I must go to Nepal because Mikey's in Nepal. No, just because I'm here, I'm not saying to go there. Just because I haven't eaten doesn't mean I'm telling you guys not to eat. So I actually tell all of my people, my Discord members, my community members, and people who get the guide, like, no, dude, eat. Because that's how you get here. You don't get this revelation by not eating. You get this by eating, and then you come to the point where you don't have to eat. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
Everyone has it backwards. So like
Hmm.
there's no suffering, there's no denial. I never deny myself from eating. I'm just not hungry yet because I'm so
Hmm.
full on life and what it is because for people to fast, they have to use discipline, which showing you that it's an irrelevant, inefficient way. Anytime you have to use force, you're going against yourself. I don't use force. I never deny. I never reject. I never force myself. If I'm hungry, Mikey just eats. If I'm thirsty, I just drink. It's no biggie. But whenever
Yeah.
you truly embrace this life for a consecutive amount of time, you become so full in life, you just you don't have hunger anymore. And that's whenever I started this. But everyone who follows me, they got the same results as me. They grew bigger muscles. They got like low body fat. They have a bunch of energy. They eat every single day. Like I was in the guide for like 3.5 years before I stopped eating. So I was eating every single day before I stopped eating. And I didn't stop eating to discipline myself or go further. I stopped eating because I just wasn't hungry. Like I'd almost just throw up because I was just so full. So I just found
Yeah.
alternate sources to live off of. You know,
But I'm just trying to figure out everything, and maybe even to
totally.
bring that better approach to the audience that they're listening us. So once you began seeing the life differently, but was it difficult to you to reintegrate back into a normal society? And the conversation that you have to go through all the time, probably the people are going to ask you all of the questions, so are going to bother you about this, because it's a really also like a mind blowing thing.
I don't care what you ask. You will never bother me. You are a friend. You
Hmm.
are a companion. You're a comrade, bro.
Yeah.
We're here together. It's like, please,
Yeah.
whatever is curious in your heart, express it. I want to help you. I want to connect with you. You know?
Yeah.
So as far as reintegrating back in society, I haven't. I can't. You know, like I really can't. So like here's a divide or a chasm. I'm at this level here, but people perceive me from their level. So when they see me, they're like, oh, he must do water fasting. Oh, he must be because a lot of people like they come in my DMs and like, Mikey, I can't do this whole not eating thing. So they're already assuming I'm
Hmm.
telling them when in every post I'm
Yeah.
like, no, eat, eat,
Yeah.
eat, eat. So a lot of people will perceive me from their specific point of reference because I'm so far. But if I was to come down and correlate or like even relate on that level, it would actually just dump a bunch of energy from me or take a bunch of energy from me to where I would have to start eating again. I'd be so drained operating at that level. So instead,
Yeah.
I stay here. I don't try to reassimilate back into society. I just be myself and people can eat from me. So like a lot of people in my Discord community, I have a whole community on Discord and everything else. I go in there just to throw up a bunch of energy and people feed off that stuff. And from that, they have more success, they have more wealth, they have more favor, they have more life, they have better results because it's all about the energy that you're consuming. So they may not understand me this first time, but you keep eating this energy, you keep absorbing it, and then over time, it just makes sense. So I am patient with people. I don't ever like try to lower myself just to connect or try to get them to understand me, but I stay consistent in what I am. And I know that if they feed off this energy in time, it might take 6 months to truly understand me. They'll be there. So it's kind of like that. So I'm not really reintegrated back into society. I'm just being what I am, and then people are catching up and they're rising from this energy I'm sharing, and then I
Yes.
can sustain it a lot easier.
Yes, yes, I totally understand you, because you're very in sync with yourself and with your own body. You're very like a unique kind of way. But what parts of the modern society, for the normal people out there, I think they are now feel the most disconnected with their body and from the human nature by itself. So what do you think that maybe lies crucial? Do you seek the God first? So how do you reconnect and be in alignment with yourself? To start,
That
hear your body, reading your body much more better.
100%. That is such a beautiful question.
Hmm.
So my grandma and my dad was like an older dude, right? That's funny story.
Hmm.
My dad is older than my grandma. If you guys can do the math on that, or math person, my father is older than my grandmother. But anyway, they're from a completely different generation.
Yeah.
And they don't even know that they're out of sync with their body. They just consider arthritis and cancer and sickness as part of life. So the fact
Yeah.
that a person can even say, I'm out of sync with my body, I'm out of alignment, they're already in alignment by even acknowledging and being aware of the in alignment in their body. So like they're already in alignment just by acknowledging the in alignment. They're in alignment by acknowledging the in alignment. So
Yeah.
whenever you come to the first steps of the guide, like I share, in the steps to have this life, the primary thing is to get anything out of your life that's in, I would say, manufactured by man for the most part, right? Like as many things that are man-made, just try to get out of your life as far as possible. Some things we have to have, like a phone, and I have to use this microphone so you guys can hear me and everything else. But for the most part, you don't have to eat junk food. You don't have to eat cakes. You don't have to have perfume or cologne or soap or deodorant or their toothpaste or all this other stuff. You can, you honestly don't even need it. My teeth are white. We make our own. We don't make toothpaste. We make food paste. The food I have around me makes my teeth white. The food
Okay.
I consume, or the things that I consume, gives my skin a natural radiance and glow. I don't use lotion or anything like that. So the first step to coming more connected with yourself, which you really can't. You can't actually be more connected to yourself. You can only be aware of the connection that you have. But you're already connected as much as you're going to be. You're not going to be more closer to your heart next year than you are now. Your heart's inside of you. It's always been inside of you. It'll always be inside of you. So no matter what, you are as connected as you ultimately ever will be, but it's just now being aware of that connection. So you're bringing awareness to the connection that you already have. When you see it in that light, it's a lot more alleviating. It's not so stressful. Like, oh man, I need to hurry up and get connected with myself because I'm unconnected. Oh my God, I got to get connected. Well, no, I'm already connected. Now I'm just learning how I'm connected. Now it's a journey. Now it's fun. Now we're just enjoying it. I'm already as connected as I'll ever be. And I get to spend the rest of my life just learning about how I'm already connected. So it's a lot easier. And one way to get connected with yourself deeper or be more aware of it is to cut out everything that's man-made. Man-made lights, man-made what else? Foods, chemicals, colognes, perfumes, and the more you disconnect with man-made manipulated stuff, the more you automatically become more aware of what you are. And that's the first and easiest step that you can do.
All right, but for example, you're in Nepal, and I see that you are with beautiful surroundings that you, yeah, that you live in, and that you can really take also the advantages of the nature. But for the people who are living in the bigger city, do you think the people today are overstimulated because everything is practically offered to us? And we are also seeking pleasure on one side. But how we can navigate through this to be in alignment with our nature self?
I mean, you just said it. Like, if you're in the city, just go to nature. Like, there's
Hmm.
national reserves everywhere. It's not impossible. It's not some sort of like great feat of how am I ever gonna get out of the city? Just drive. And if you don't have a car,
Yeah,
get a bus. If you don't have a bus, hire an Uber. If you can't get an Uber, hike your way there. Just do it. Like you are the only thing holding yourself back. It's not like there's actually something holding you. Nothing can ever hold you back. It's just the choices that you're making. So that's why I said in the beginning, like the suffering isn't actually suffering. It's just the confirmation of every choice that we made thus far. So whenever you come to the position in your life to where you understand, like, I can just go to nature. Like, I was
yeah.
the guy in the city. I lived in Atlanta. I actually lived in the high rise. I lived in like a penthouse in the high rise and stuff like that.
So
As
what you
as
don't
time went
chase,
by,
you're
I just
choosing.
made the conscious decision to go out and then find where nature is. And now I'm there. I just chose this. I'm here because I chose this. And
Yeah,
everyone else can do the same thing. I had a lot of people in my Discord community. They thought the same thing. Oh, Mikey, like I have people from like New York City, right? It's like like one of the biggest cities in the world. A lot of
yeah,
pollution, a lot of brutalism and stuff like that, like buildings, architecture, stuff like that. They, if anybody, would be the most hopeless. I'm in New York City. I live in Manhattan. I live here and there. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, bro, just move. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, just move. They're like, I can do that. I'm like, yeah, just move. And guess what? They got up. It wasn't that day. It wasn't that week. It wasn't even that month, but they got a transfer in the same job and everything else to go to a more, I guess, nature-esque place. And now they live out closer towards nature because they just understood how much freedom they actually have. They just moved. And now they're out in nature and they're like, oh my God, Mikey, you gave me so much power. I didn't even know I could just get up and move. Again, you guys are thinking I'm telling you everything right now. I'm a Capricorn, man. So I'm like legacy building, long-term focus. Like I'm looking to the future. Like in myself, I'm already 60. I'm already a senior citizen, bro. Like I can already get in the movies for a credit rate in my mind. So I'm already like looking like 40 years ahead in the future and stuff like that. 30, 20, in the future. In the same way, when I share information with you guys, I'm not saying do this right now, this moment, but start moving in that direction, start looking that way. And then eventually you'll end up there. Wherever you're looking is where you're going to end up. So they start looking to a more naturesque place and, scenic views and stuff like that. And then by chance of life, you will be the one who ends up there. It's so easy.
Yeah, and do you also believe that modern illness nowadays begins emotionally before it actually manifests physically nowadays?
It's life itself. That's a great question. That is so
Yeah,
deep. Okay, but like life itself is collapsing upon itself from itself. So as it looks at
yeah,
itself, it triggers itself to feel something so it can exist.
yeah,
Everything in reality is trying to give you a feedback so it can emote from you, so it can be justified to exist in your realm. So you have things external outside of you trying to provoke you so your emotions can create something so it can exist because it doesn't actually exist until you feel it, but it exists enough to affect you. So you have to come to
yeah,
the point where you are both the yin and the yang, the outside and the inside simultaneously. And now it doesn't matter if it's through emotions, it doesn't matter if it's an external trigger point. All the reality is being collapsed on itself symbiotically to be the very thing that you feel, that you see, that you hold, that you believe, that you speak, that you say, that's external of you and everything else around you. So it's a simultaneously conscious engagement and a grasping of all things at all times to exist in the reality that you're experiencing, which takes a lot of conscious energy, which is why in the
yeah.
guide, it's not about losing weight or not eating or whatever. The guide's actually the opposite. It's about getting as much energy as you possibly can because you have a job to do. You have a duty. You have to apply so much conscious effort to hold all of reality together, and you're late. So we got to start getting you some more energy to do that.
And from the community that you also teach, have you ever met a person, or maybe in a larger number, on a larger scale, that's unresolved emotions and trauma literally change the way a person breathes, even thinks, and just experience the reality? I mean, how do you navigate this? Um, you know, from them step by step. How do you guide them, to change the frame of thinking?
Yeah, totally. Of course. I've had people literally have a facial reconstruction because they have resolved inner turmoil in their own life. They had an asymmetrical face. And then after going and partaking in the meditations that I have in
Yeah,
my Discord community, they were able to resolve a lot of these triggering beliefs or self sabotaging beliefs or hate, whatever they had inside of them. And it
yeah,
literally made their face more symmetrical, made it more beautiful, made it shine more. We all have unresolved stuff because we're all distracted and focused on things that don't matter. Conspiracy theories and like worry and doubt and fears, things that most likely won't even happen, right? What we were scared about in 2022, now people are scared about something today in our modern day and age. Or what we're scared about in 2025, now people are, it will always be something else. So you might as well take the time to go in, find out what you believe, what are you scared of, reduce everything in your life, come to a concentrated point of these are the only things that matter, and start from there. At that inception point, you can bring it all into alignment by your field, and then your body will become more symmetrical. That healing will take place and affect you health wise. You'll regenerate easier, and then it all derives from that. But it starts with the first thing, which I said is like meditation. There's a specific sequence of meditations that I give you in the Discord community that allows you to see yourself for what you actually are. And once you see that, you see how you're holding yourself back. No one's holding Ivan back. No one's holding Mikey back. No one's
yeah,
holding
yeah,
anybody back but ourselves. We are stronger than any force or principality or union of people or government, whatever people want to say, republics or whatever. We are the individual with the energy. So if we're being held back and we are the victim, it's because we put ourselves there.
yeah. But what do you think, Michael? What happens to a human being when they spend years disconnected from their self, also from nature, from their presence and their own body? So what do you think that
Yeah,
causes then?
great question, by the way.
Yeah,
um
thanks.
I would even say this. I don't even believe a person can be disconnected from themselves. They could be unaware, but like my
Unaware.
pink never popped off and ran away and like went to the neighbor's house and hung out with them. Like I'm always connected with myself. It's just, am I actually aware of my own connection? So what happens if a person spends decades not being aware of themselves, right?
Yeah,
Chaos, turmoil, fear, hate, lack of power, lack of embrace, death, contraction. That's what happens whenever people are unaware. But guess what?
yeah,
Wisdom brightens the face. When you become wise and intelligent of what you actually are and what this is, and just aware of yourself, you stop aging. You have great skin. You glow. You have a bunch of energy. I haven't eaten in, 200 and probably like 90 days now. I have so much freaking energy, so much elation. So it's just
yeah,
the opposite. When you're unaware of yourself, hate, fear, insecurity, you want to change yourself, modify your body. You want to take steroids and get plastic surgery and pills and supplements and pharmaceutical test cocktails. But when you become aware of yourself, the very essence of your own wisdom restructures and recalibrates your face to where you look more divine and symmetrical. So the opposite, it's the pole, but we get to choose what side of the pole we want to be on.
yeah.
Disharmony or harmonious.
Okay, so Michael, you travel constantly. and meet people
Yeah.
all over the world. So, do you believe are there humans everywhere fundamentally searching for the same thing? Beneath the surface when we, or are there some differences?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. Wow. These are some really good questions, by the way. This is not my normal podcast. I'm loving this. This is amazing. Top tier,
Thank
brother.
you.
This is
Thank
gonna
you.
this is gonna set so many people free mentally. It's gonna unburden them. It's gonna lighten them up, and they're going to illuminate with the true wisdom of what this life actually is. Just because you have these prompts and these questions. So kudos to you, brother. Thank you so much for having me on and
No,
even asking these questions. So
the,
I've been
the
to so
pleasure is
far
all mine.
31 countries. Yeah, for sure. So far, I've been to 31 countries, and I don't go for a week. I'm not a tourist. I'm not some guy like, okay, I'm going to spend 3 days in the Bahamas. I'm going to go to Bermuda, or like, okay, I'm going to go to the beach or something like that in Thailand, blah, 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 right? I go in there and I live. I go in places that people are unfamiliar of. I go to places that even the locals don't even know. I'll go to towns and people ask me, hey, where are you staying at? I tell them the town I'm living in. The locals are like, where's that? I've never even heard of that town. So I'm a guest in their country in places that they don't even know because I want to go where the real people are. Like, most people here in this place don't even know about this city that I'm in. Even here in
Yeah.
Nepal, like, where are you? So I'm here with real people, real locals living a real life, real experience. I will go into the woods, the jungle, I'll forage and I'll get berries and I'll sightsee like that versus being your normal tourist who like, okay, let's go see the monument. Hurry up. Next day we're gonna go climb this mountain, blah, 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 right? And because of that, I get to spend quality time with the real people there. And I won't just go there for a week. I'll live there for sometimes 3 months, like immersed in the people, immersed in the culture and everything else. As I do that, I see all these beautiful people, beautiful faces, and I find out what the internet's saying isn't true. So
Yeah.
these people here don't spend that much time on the internet. This is a Western thing. It's really degrading society when you go to these places that, oh, it's third world. Or, oh my God, these people are barbarians. It's like, no, actually, if anything, there's a collapse of the Western world, the modern world, because they believe this false light being emitted from their phone that's flickering, that's reprogramming their brain because it's this terror. Oh, the president did this, and now Europe and the UN, and now this, and now that war, and now that. There's all this land where there's no bombs going off, there's no fighting, there's no hate, and there's all these kids, and they're smiling, and everyone's happy, and the grandmas are happy, the children are playing outside, the birds are singing. I don't know if you can hear this, but there's birds, there's crickets, there's blue skies, and there's all this joy out there. But the very psyop from our phone has kept us locked into where we're too scared to even try and attempt. It's enabled us, it's made us docile. So when I go and see these people all around the world, I've been all through North America, I've been all through South America, and I've been to almost the majority of the countries in Asia. Right? I've been to the majority of them. Everyone's happy. Everyone's so willing and so helpful. There's very, 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 very little pessimistic people, like maybe here and there. Everyone's so happy. Everyone's so willing to help and do whatever they can. The best people in the world. And guess what? They're not on their phones. They're not on the internet. They're
Yeah.
outside in nature. They're putting their hands in the dirt. They're gardening. They're doing all this stuff. And maybe the Western world, like, well, they're barbaric and they're poor, barbaric and they're poor and all this other stuff. But like, but these people have a more fulfilling life than the people living in the cities. They're not committing.
Yeah.
They're not unaliving themselves. They're not addicted to pills. They're not on all this other stuff. But you call them the barbarians? Like, you hate your life so much you want to end it. So to me, it's like
Mhm.
y'all, you guys are backwards, man. The world is
Yeah.
filled with so many beautiful people and beautiful faces, and every time you see a smile, it lights you up. So instead of eating, I'm going around the world collecting smiles because these smiles are charging me up and giving me reason to live, or like at least the energy to.
That is awesome. And I'm really glad that you mentioned this because it actually leads me to my next question. At this stage of your life, Michael, what does inner peace actually feels like to you? I'm asking this, do you believe that peace is something we create or something we uncover once we remove all of the distractions in our life?
Man, like, dude, your audience is lucky to have you, man. You ask some really great questions, like for real. Like,
Well,
you
thank
guys,
you. Thank you.
if you
You're
haven't
doing
already, like
everything for
this
the
video.
community. Thank you.
100%, man. Your community is
Yeah.
they are definitely being blessed by you guys. If you haven't already, like Ivan's podcast and share it and get it out there, share it, spread the word because we need more profound questions and statements like this. So it's an honor to be here. Again, I just want to say that. What
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
found so yeah, what I found so far in life is that every moment needs to be filled. There is no such thing as a void. There is no such thing as a vacuum. Thing dumps
True.
and collapses into the moment. So it has to be filled. So whatever it's going to be filled with creates the echo of what you're about to experience. So if this moment is filled with disdain or hate or whatever, it's coming down the pipeline. You're going to experience that hate in the world or wherever in your day to day or your success or whatever. So peace is something that's conjured. You're calling it forth, almost like people summon angels. I pray on Michael the archangel to come. Or some people might try to summon demons, like, oh, Baphomet or whoever else. I'm not familiar with them, but whatever. And they conjure up these things. That's what emotions are. So peace is just something you conjure. It's just a fulfillment. It's just a filament, right? It's nothing. It's simply the energy of, and it usually has the characteristics of elation and feel good and stuff like that. So peace isn't
Mhm.
something we even seek or grasp or obtain. It's something that we conjure within ourselves, whether we have to think about good thoughts like, oh, that time my grandma made me cookies and it made me so happy, or my mom kissed me on the face, or like my first date, or like the time I played catch with my dad. However, you need to conjure. If you need to have a thought or just like recite an affirmation to yourself or whatever, you conjure it up in a moment. And that moment, which cannot be a void, it cannot be empty, it has to be filled with something, is now filled with what you conjured up. And whenever it's filled, now it comes down the pipeline and that becomes your experience later. So peace is something that you just make. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What state you could
Yeah.
be in the hospital bed, you could be driving right now, you could be on a podcast. It is your duty and your job to be the placeholder of the admittance of peace in this world. And if you ever see anything out there that's not peace, because you're not fulfilling your job, because the world needs you to step into your position and emit peace from you by conjuring it. Conjure the spirit, conjure up the spirit of peace, the spirit of love, whatever you want to say, whatever religion you're in, doesn't matter. Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Like, we'll make it upon you and then emit that into the world. And I'm telling you, it's going to be brighter days, bluer skies, whiter clouds. So peace is something that you have to make a conscious decision to conjure and manufacture. And whenever you do that, it's emitted from you. At any point in time, you don't need to learn anything. You don't need to go through suffering. Try. You don't need to go through like a 10-step process of like how to obtain peace in your own life. It's just a choice that you make. And the moment you start moving towards it, it will instantly meet you there.
Yeah, definitely. That is, I believe that's why you're so successful, because you live in your own authenticity, because you live in sync with your energy, and you are who you are, who you're speaking. You're speaking your truth. But do you believe that, or do you think that many people are just terrified to fully be themselves, considering that can be judged, from the surroundings?
Oh man, we're getting into it. We're getting in
Uh-huh.
the heat of it, bro. Let's go. Of course, man. There is a you know, Phobos and Demos, bro. There's a spirit of terror that has been thrust into people to where if you do not assimilate to the culture, you do not agree with us about these rights or those rights, if you don't stand up for these beliefs, you become the outlier, and those people get their head chopped off to where no one
Yeah,
is an origination point of authenticity. Because if you are, then they deconstruct their power. People's power is
true.
completely reliant on you not changing, on you not being authentic. So,
Yeah,
of course, there are pressures to terrify you so you don't become your true self, which only makes you a prisoner. That should only encourage you to go be more authentic, because whenever you do, there's nothing that can happen to you. Like, there are no repercussions of you being authentic. What, people are going to leave you? Well, they were only with you because you were fake anyway. So why would you want that energy draining
yeah,
people, keeping you in that constant state of because here's the thing in life, there are no plateaus. You either are ascending or you are descending. You are never at a constant state. So if the people around you aren't making you grow and expand into more, then they're actually making you contract and you become weaker and you become docile. So yeah, there's terror put on people to keep you where you are, because the power is in you being authentic, in you
yeah.
being you. That's why I have no title, no name. I'm not a vegan. I'm not a carnivore. I'm not a breatharian. I'm not a fast. I'm simply me. You can call me Mikey if you want to for a reference point, but I am authentically me in everything. I talk about butt stuff and I talk about intimacy and polyamory. I talk about how stupid this is. I talk about how dumb that. I'll talk about whatever I want to talk about. And because of that, people are actually waking up, or at least no longer feeling the burden of this responsibility that was put on the people through the terror of not assimilating into the culture. And it's actually
Yes.
setting a lot of people free.
Yeah, and they're feeling the connectivity as well. So considering that we are both men, and that we certainly have also the men population who are following us in throughout our communities, I think this is very important, as you just said. But how has your understanding of masculinity changed throughout your journey?
Man, oh,
What?
masculine.
Yeah, what would be your message to the younger people, to the younger generation, especially men who are following us?
Yeah, gotta get that deep
Yeah.
voice out for the masculine dudes out there. All
Yes,
right.
yes.
I don't try to be masculine. I don't care. I never even think about it. I just be myself. And inside of me being authentically me, women just like me, bro. So like, I guess
Mm,
the feminine is automatically attracted to me when I am just me. I'm not trying. I'm not putting on a show. I never think about the word. I never even mention the phrase. So like, unless somebody ask me the question about masculinity, you'll never hear me talk about it because I believe it's a conceptual approach to keep guys actually boxed in.
yeah,
Because when you got to be masculine, bro, you got to be this thing. You're a man, do
yeah,
this. Well, a man would never do that. That's manipulation.
yes,
Man
yes,
manipulation, man masculine. So like so the masculine, the feminine. I actually don't even believe in it personally, and that keeps me free to be in what most would consider masculine. So like me, a little bit about me. I grew breast at the age of around 9 years old. So I had gynecomastia develop roughly around 9, 10 years old, stuff like that. So I grew up all my life with breast on my chest. Hella embarrassing, not very masculine. It's not very masculine for a guy to have breasts, but that's like the opposite of masculine, right? So living in that really altered the course of my life and how I approached everything. And it showed me like there is no true masculinity. There's just simply authenticity. Because
yeah,
sometimes you need to be like the moon. Sometimes you need to be like the sun. Sometimes I need to shut the F up. Sometimes I need to speak as loud as I can. Sometimes I need to be considerate and careful. Sometimes I need to be hard and strict. So I'm all things at all time. I am the moon. I am the sun. I am the man. I'm the woman. I was born a girl. Everybody's born a girl. Everybody's born with an XX chromosome. It's later that that little part breaks off. You become an XY that you grow, phallus and everything else. So everyone's technically everything. I'm not saying
yeah,
transhuman or there's no difference between man and a woman, gender, stuff like that. I'm a dude with a penis. That's a person with a
yeah,
vagina. This is male. This is female. But the conceptualization of masculinity or femininity in culture is the very thing that's keeping people in prison because they become ineffective because they're trying to be that thing. When you stop trying to be, you automatically embody it. And I'm a
yeah.
dude. Like, no questions about it, Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes, makes sense. Actually, maybe I just could rephrase that question. Is I wanted to know what qualities make a man truly strong in your own eyes today. So, but yeah, you
Wow.
brought that up to the bottom of the thing that I wanted to know. So, how do relationship maybe expose the parts of ourselves maybe today we still haven't healed? So, what do you think that the relationships has to as a connection to us and to our true selves, how they play
Are you
out all in our life.
talking about relationships as far as like partner relationships or just with ourselves?
Yeah, or just in general, not just a partner relationship, but all of the relationships that we collect through our life that we build ourselves up.
That's beautiful. Okay, awesome.
Hmm.
Well put. Well put. So if you're smart, you understand what you're actually in. Everything is a bounce off of a reflection to try to show you who you actually are. Everything.
Yeah,
Everything is
yeah,
simply a reference point for you to understand yourself. So
yeah,
that girl rejecting you, that guy wanting to be your friend, this job hiring you, this job rejecting you, it's all trying to show you something about yourself. So every single relationship is that it's a relation. It's how you relate. The fact that this is even in your vicinity, in your close proximity, is showing you there's something tying this to you. So if you have a girl who keeps cheating on you, or women have dudes who are abusing them like constantly, this boyfriend abuses that girl and then so on and so forth, this is trying to relate to you, to show you there's something in your life that's bringing this up. So all of
yeah,
reality, whether you have clear skies, cloudy skies, rainy days, trailed skies from chemicals and stuff like that, whatever, is here
yeah,
to literally relate with you. The relationship is connecting at the point to where it relates with you. So when you're smart and you understand what this realm is, you can be like, you can take a second back and just like ponder this, like, perceive and conceive, like, what is it of this thing that's connected with me? And then whenever you truly see that, it shows you the infinite data points of how you are in this universe. And the moment you embody that, usually the disgruntlement or the the distortion will just vanish and it'll dissolve, it'll go away. So whatever problem you were facing, the moment you just realize how that's connected with you and you have the epiphany of it, it'll just by default go away. And then you start living a more harmonious life because everything in reality is trying to show you it's just you. every
Yeah.
fight, every war, every relationship, every podcast, every speaker, every minute, every second, because you can only experience what's directly correlated and related to you, even if the news is across the world. Somehow it made it to you because it relates to something inside of you. And if you can be wise and actually understand that, then that's what you find out that's what life actually is about. And it makes it so much more
Mhm.
fun.
And Mike, I'm also very interested about what is your opinion about love. Do you think a love is more about the attachment or expansion of yourself and your partner?
No, this is so beautiful. Okay, cool. So I actually don't even believe in love either. I believe love is kind of like the suffering. So it's our interpretation of a specific event, a moment, or some sort of feeling. So
Okay.
love itself is some sort of state. It's either a dedication, it's euphoria, it's bliss, it's orgasmic, or it's even just a bond, a tie. Like I'm not gonna be orgasmic with my mom or like my dad or something like that, but like I love my mom. I love my dad. Well, there's a connection point, and that connection point of how it relates with me is what I consider love to be. Now, love
Yeah.
is a different title for different things and different people. It's
Sure.
not so much is love expanding or contracting, holding on to or trying to what was the word that you used? Like you're trying to hold on to love or something like that, or is it expansive? Love is simply what we're trying to point to when we say how this associates with us, how this makes us feel. So whenever we come to the
Yeah.
point when we understand like there is a trigger point inside of us, and sometimes love hurts. Sometimes
Yeah.
love it could be headbutting. I'm gonna be real. There's some haters out there who I actually appreciate
For
because they
sure.
they they hit points in me. I'm like, dang, I'm glad I can see that now in myself. So it's not that I love my haters or something like that, but in a sense, there is a feeling that most would call love. Some people love to hate. Some people hate
Yeah.
that they love. But what
Of
love
course.
actually is some sort of uh internal triggering of a sensation inside of us. And when we reverse engineer it or draw it back to what that sensation is, then it's actually restructured as a PowerPoint. We can derive from that feeling that we might, classify as love, and then we can live off of it. Now the love is expanding me. Now the love is giving me sight. Now the love is actually fueling me forward, not because it's just love and like gushy mushy stuff like that, but because it makes me more aware of myself because I have multiple partners, right? I've been with plenty of women throughout my day, and I have multiple partners even here with me. So I have two who are currently with me traveling, and I always share like back in the USA, I had 6 partners all simultaneously. I'm not a deceiver. I don't go behind people's back. I've never cheated on any of my partners ever. I've never cheated on a person in my entire life. I don't believe in this. I think lying's for the weak. I think steroids, peptides, TRT, and lying are for weak people. That's it. That's my belief. That's my philosophy. So I've never cheated on any of my partners in my entire life. And I've always told people about each other whenever we actually go into like, assimilating all this stuff. So
Yeah, for sure.
each, each of the
Uh,
lovers that I've ever had brings something different out in me. Sasha does this to me. She makes me more organized in structures, and she like brings me together so I can have more of a direct focus.
yeah.
Lay helps me expand my mind so like that direct focus can go towards higher things. This person brings this out of me. That person brings this out of me. So each lover I've ever had actually activates something different inside of me, and I become a more refined individual, like overall. And
Yeah.
to consider love is like the kissing or the intimacy is like that would be to negate the power that it actually is. They're here to actually trigger me into a higher refinement of an entity of a being myself. And when I allow that, when I even acknowledge that, or even understand that, that's when I start embodying power. And that's why I have relationships. Every
Okay.
relationship you have making you more powerful, and it's not. You should really reconsider it.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. But if I can, switch to that part of the truth and the philosophy of your life, and even the criticism, as you just mentioned, because definitely there are gonna be some people who hate. I think your message challenged many conventional beliefs, and
Good. Yeah.
actually that brings even can bring some criticism. But how do you stay grounded when people misunderstand you or attack your philosophy here?
Well, I mean, okay, attach. That's what you said earlier. It
Hmm.
was the attach
Yeah.
or expand, because attach is
Yeah.
such an important word. I'm not attached to what I even believe, so I don't
Hmm.
take it personally. Like, okay, like if they criticize me, right? Like, okay, one thing is this. One thing people say on the internet, because I say I haven't worked out in 6 years, right? I'm like, okay, I've been to the gym. I don't lift weights, but people will
Yeah.
comment like, well, he's constantly doing calisthenics and body exercises. And I'm like, you don't know me, bro. I don't do calisthenics. I'm not a I don't do pull-ups. I don't do some sort of like bar thing or anything. I might hang from something to open my spine, but like I don't do this. So whenever a person says that, they're literally speaking out of ignorance because they want to be seen. I recognize it for what it is. The person who
Yeah.
speaks up in ignorance is the child who's still wearing the diapers. They want mama, they want daddy. So whenever they're lashing out to me about what I believe, they're just saying like, you're the closest thing I have to a father. And I know this might like really break a lot of people's minds, but it's not a conscious thing, it's a subconscious thing. That's why the baby cries. It wants something. It wants mama, it wants daddy. And people are still babies. Like I don't care if you're 80, you were formed from that infant state and it never leaves you. Yeah, you might put layers on and you might see yourself as I'm a grown ass man and I'm this and that and I'm blah 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 blah. From what? From the baby. You're the grown ass man from the baby. You're the baby. So the baby actually never leaves. You have phases and cycles. When people operate in the offense, it turns off their executive functions and they revert back to the infantile state. That's why they lash in such irrationality. Like what they're saying is not even true. I'm like, I don't even know this person. Like, how would you know what I do, bro? Like, they act like they were there. They act like they were eyewitnesses and they were taking historical accounts of it. But like, I don't even know your name, dude. Like, who are you? What they're
Yeah.
saying is
Yeah.
because they're saying you're the closest thing I have to a father. The more energy that I operate in, and the more establishment that I'm in, those who are unstable come out because they're looking for structure. They're looking for something to hold on to. The child is looking for mother. The child is looking for father. But guess how the child does it? By disrupting, by yelling. So whenever I see that, I consider them and I show love and grace. I'm like, so instead of hating them, I just tell them this one thing: just be happy. Even if everything I said wasn't true or whatever, because like my only message is to know yourself. So I don't know how I could deceive people.
Yeah.
People sometimes say this. People sometimes say like, "Oh, you're going to hurt people by your message." I'm like, "Bro, what's my message? Know yourself, love yourself, and eat every day." Like, how is that going to hurt people by know like you know what I'm saying? So it's so irrational. It's just like, okay, hey, bro, even if that was true, just be happy because you're going to get better results anyway. Because I see the infant inside crying out because they have nobody. There's been multiple
Yeah.
times that I've gotten hate or something like that, and I'll even call the people out. It's almost like psychic how this happens, but I'm like, you don't have a girlfriend, do you? And people are like, what are you even talking about? I'm like, you don't have anybody there. Like, you're not with your mom or your dad. You don't have any brothers who are like, you're close with, and you probably don't have a girlfriend, right? And they'll be like, actually, no, bro, I don't have a girlfriend, and I'm sorry for hating on you. And they'll actually break down and be like, hey, it was just a moment. Please forgive me. And people will come back and apologize. Now I have like thousands and thousands of followers. I can't do that on every single hater, but it's giving me grace and love to expose myself to confirm what I'm actually in, that I'm the most stable things that these people have seen, and that's why they cry out. So when that happens, when anything's ever being attacked, I see it as the baby trying to get attention. Because if there was
Yeah.
ever a kid, like a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old, or even like a 3-year-old, and the kid comes up and hits you, it's not gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Like you ever have a kid come up and just like throw a block at you or hit you and like play and like go run? That's what these haters are. That's what these people are who attack. They just want
Yeah.
to have fun. Everyone's looking to have fun, but they don't know how, so they're doing the best they can. The girl will run away from you and play hard to get. The kid will come up and punch you and run. The hater just likes mock and say stuff, but they just want to have fun. And whenever you
Yeah.
are just the source of joy, you just have fun anyway. Just have fun with the hate. Have fun with the attack on the philosophy. And guess what? Like we said in the beginning, if your philosophy crashes or implodes on itself from what they said, it shows you wasn't even stable anyway. So it's a vantage point. You only upgrade from there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just truly trying to figure out the way how you operate, and maybe that leads to my next question. Has there ever been a moment where you deeply, maybe even question your own path, or even wondered if you had gone a little bit too far outside that social norms that we have, opposed to us?
Dude, I love these questions. Ivan, you're amazing. You're a very intelligent man. Okay, a
Thank you.
couple of things.
Thank you,
One,
brother.
totally, bro. It's an honor to speak and share this moment with you, bro. You're such a beautiful soul.
Thank you.
Now, since I grew up alone, right? I grew up no parents, no brother, no
Yeah.
sister. There was no social norm for me. So I got to be as weird as I wanted. And I had years of compounding weirdness just like building back into itself because there was no one to tell me yes or no. So in that, like it really disassociated me with trying to fit into society. So like I don't care what people, I'm not trying to fit in with people. they're sick. They're the sick ones. They don't have muscles without working out. They have to eat every day just
Yeah.
to get a little bit of energy. And if not, they get hangry. They're the sour ones. Why would I try to assimilate to them? I always say this to people who are trying to challenge me. No, fasting's better. No, vegan's better. No, carnivore's better. I tell them this. Look, obviously, because people try to give me advice every single day. I always get it. It's very interesting. But I look at people and I say, look, we both know I'm in a better position than you are. And there's no way I would want to trade lives with you, but you would most likely be instantly willing to trade positions with me. So that being said, I can't really listen to what you say. I won't try to
Yeah.
assimilate to these people. I won't try to console them. Again, masculine energy, right? I'm not a mommy. I had gynecomastia and big boobies, but I ain't going to breastfeed you, bro. I'm not going to spoon feed you. I'm more of a dad. I'm going to push you in the dirt. I'm going to throw you in the water. You're going to learn how to swim. We're going to do this the instant way, right? I'm not going to coddle you there. So with these people, whenever it comes to these moments like that, I just share. I was like, look, dude, you need to assimilate to me, or at least take on this way, because what I'm doing stronger. If you can get muscles without working out, if you can have energy without eating a bunch of food, like obviously this is the more powerful way. If you need supplements and smelling salts and TRT and peptides just to even get a fraction of this power,
Yeah.
obviously I'm in a more powerful state than you are. So since I'm the one in the more powerful state, I can't even consider what you're saying, bro. So it's just like noise to me. But obviously
Yeah.
you're even talking to me, because one thing you'll see, I never go to another person's profile and hate. I'm not a hater, bro. I'm not. I'd never go onto people's profile, actively seek them, and go like put pessimistic or insulting stuff. That's not who I am. That would
Yeah.
destroy this entity that I am. But all these people come to me, which means whatever I'm doing got your attention, so it works. So you're the one coming to me, bro. So I'm already at the advantage. So because of
Yeah.
that, I've already won in every situation. So if they ever want me to change or whatever, it's like, well, I mean, you came to me, bro. So like that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah. But in these situations, how do you personally, when you get to, to have a discussion like this, how do you personally distinguish maybe your deep intuition from your ego? How do you separate them and navigate throughout the conversation? Just to make the ego maybe your friend, not your enemy. I don't know if you get me on this one.
Yeah, totally, totally, totally. I mean, well
Yeah.
the first thing I do is I just deflate the situation. I take all charge out
Yeah.
of it, and I just joke. I just
Yeah.
make it lighthearted. Like it's like the first step doesn't have to be that serious. It's not like you need to know about fasting and calories and everything. It's like first off, like, hey,
Uh-huh.
dude, how's it going? My name's Mikey. Nice to meet you, bro. Call like it doesn't have to be that serious. Like we've just met, bro. Like warm me
Yeah.
up, lube me up, or something, man. Like you don't gotta come right out the
Of
bat with
course.
just all you. So I always try to like de-escalate the situation and like just make it fun,
Uh,
because here's the big thing. If it's not fun, why would I want to partake in it? So like if there's
yeah.
nothing for me in this interaction, why would I want to give any energy to it? So I at least try to make it fun, at least
Makes
like on
sense.
the get go. And if the person's like, hey, yeah, you're right, bro, let's actually have a real conversation, then I'll get into the deeper matters, how I do this and what it is. But if the person wants to like stay hating, they are telling me what it's going to continue being. So I just choose not to engage with that type of stuff. So the first thing's always that: de-escalate the situation, make it lighthearted, make it fun, because that's why we're here. We're here in
Yeah.
life to win. We're here in life
To,
to have fun. We're here in life to smile. So if that conversation doesn't make me smile, that conversation isn't life. So why
yeah.
would I partake in it? I'm a free being. I'm a free agent. I have free will. I don't gotta talk to you. I can just block you or just ignore you or just like I don't really block people. I might like if you say some like weird stuff, I'll block you, but like I'll let you talk to yourself. A lot of people just talk to themselves in the comments. And sometimes people
Yeah.
will like give paragraphs of like, you're so wrong, because the moment I see you're so, and it's not like a compliment or something like that, I instantly disengage. I don't read it. And I'll just say something to like trigger the person, hopefully into a state of joy. I'm like, man, just be happy, which usually pisses people off even more, but that's kind of funny anyway. If a person's telling you to be happy and you're gonna get more angry, you probably need to be happier. It's probably a
Yeah.
sign you should be happier, or what you're saying is in hate. Because anytime you operate in hate, anytime you operate in some sort of negative entity or negative spirit or anything like that, you start feeding that stuff. And whenever you feed it, no wonder why your life is so chaotic, or it's a struggle, or you suffer, because you keep interacting with hate. Like if I have intercourse with a girl with an STD, I'm going to catch it. So if I'm having a conversation, that conversation's intercourse, we're going back and forth, in and out, breathing and exhaling, and they have some sort of spiritually transmitted demon, or like deficit or some sort of like defect with them, I'm going to catch their defects. I don't want your defects, bro. I don't want your STD. So if they
Yeah.
can't have fun with me in the first sentence and just play, they're showing me it's going to be boring. It's going to take life from me. So I won't even engage with those people because there's hundreds and thousands of people who are happy, who do want to have fun and who will play with me, who will enjoy this life with me. So like the 10 people who are negative in the comments out of the thousands, tens of thousands who are following me, they're not even worthy of my time. So how
Yeah.
I not one way how I don't even get in my ego is I don't believe in ego. I don't believe it's a
Yeah.
real thing. I believe it's a tactic by religious, spiritual people, like spiritual, even like Gnostic religious people, dogmatic spiritual people to manipulate others. Because if you tell somebody they're in their ego, they're just trying to manipulate their mind and change their mind. I never go in with an agenda. I go into love, and that's my only intention, but I'll never go in to try to change their mind. The moment I'm trying to
Yeah.
change your mind, Ivan, or their mind, I'm manipulating you. So every time a person says ego, you're in your ego, they're actually trying to change you. They're manipulating you. So
Yeah.
the word ego is a very refined tool that bypasses the executive function and cognitive awareness to hit them in their pride, to manipulate somebody by their pride. Because if you say you're in your ego, you're actually hitting their pride, which is a subconscious effect, and you're manipulating that person. So I never think about ego or anything of that matter. But I just have fun. I
Yeah.
just love. I just, because and if they can't connect with my love and start partying with me, they're gonna show themselves out the door. They can't stay in a happy state.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the thing that are more um, that stays behind us is our legacy. And I think if someone is probably listening right now to us and maybe even feel lost, feel maybe disconnected or even anxious or even spiritually empty, where should they begin rebuilding themselves?
Oh man, that's heavy.
Mm.
That's a heavy one, man.
Yeah.
Well, I want you guys to know that syntax, the words you use are extremely important. And it's not that you have to rebuild yourself per se. It's that you're already built. You're already here. Like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. I have muscles, right? I
Yeah.
don't have any extra gene in me now that I didn't have at my birth. I have all the genes that I had at my birth. Nothing's added, nothing's taken away. So it's not that like you have to rebuild or take in or anything like that. Just start loving yourself. That's the main thing. The best way to do this is become aware of what you actually are. If I have a girl or some partner or something like that, and I don't know who they are, I can't technically love them because I don't know them. I don't know you. If you just paint the picture of a girl, I haven't seen her, I've never talked to her, I've never felt her, touched her, never even smelled her. But you say, hey, there's a girl there. How can I have love for that person? But you say, hey, this girl is your wife and she looks like this, and this is her body, this is her mood, this is her energy. Then I'm like, hey, I can fall in love with her because I can connect, I can relate with those attributes of that person. Well, you are that girl, you are that guy, you are that lover. And the more you learn about yourself, not judgmental, not critical, like, oh, you're this, you're an egotistical, oh my God, you're your shadow self. Oh, you're so bad. No, just like, hey, look, I'm Ivan and I look like this. And for some reason, whenever this happens in life, I start acting this way. And you show yourself compassion and mercy and spend contemplated time with yourself, looking yourself in the pupils, going to that's one of the steps in the guide. When you guys get the guide is the step by step of how to approach this life I call the harmonic state. When you operate in the harmonic state, you have more wealth, more success, more money, more energy, more life, more happiness, more everything good, right? So
Yeah.
the guide is a step by step of how to obtain that realm called the harmonic state. One of the first steps in the guide is self-love decrees. You have to go to the mirror and look at yourself in the pupil and say the specific phrase to yourself, and that unlocks everything inside of you. Because when you do that, you start seeing what you actually are. And when you see what you actually are, how could you not fall in love? Right? I hated myself
Yeah.
because I had breath. I had
Yeah.
boobs at 9, 10, 11, 12, and even 30s. Even now it might inflate and stuff like that. Yeah, I never had surgery. So, they could come back even more at any day, and I hated that for years. Is why I worked out, is why I would fast, is why I would run, I would count calories, I would starve myself, I took supplements because I didn't want to get surgery, but I do everything else instead because I hated it. I hated it so much. But the moment I look myself in the eyes and say, hey, Mikey, I love you. Hey, dude, okay, we have kids, whatever. We'll make it, bro. I'm here with you. I've never left you. I've been here every single day. Every day I wake up, I'm still you. I'm still in this body. I'm gonna do the best I can to make the best choices for both of us because you've kept me alive through all these years. You kept my heart beating. You kept my air full of. You kept my lungs full of air. You've been here even whenever I hated you. So thank you for carrying the torch. I'm going to help you from here on out. And you make that connection with yourself and love yourself. You get to know yourself. And the moment you know yourself, you see that you are that kid. You are that kid just wanting to reach, wanting to know, wanting to connect, wanting to be free, want to be authentic. And at that point, you
Yeah.
start actually having compassion and love for yourself. And that's where you start from. You do that, the sadness just disappears. Like I've been depressed. I was abandoned as a kid. I lived in my neighborhood in America, in the USA. I was so poor that I was the only kid in my neighborhood who spoke English. Everyone else spoke Spanish. My
Wow.
this patio I'm on right here. This patio is bigger than my entire house I lived in. This little patio here that I'm on, this is the patio. I'm in like a 9 level a layered house property. This patio alone is bigger than the house I grew up in when I first got with my dad, so start living with him. And I was scared. I was so sad. I was depressed. I would cry, like all this other stuff. But once I started seeing myself for what I am and just loving or knowing myself, I started loving myself. I haven't been depressed since. How could I be sad? I'm me. You're only sad if you don't know yourself, because the moment you know yourself, you realize, like, what is there to be sad about? I'm here. I have breath in my lungs. I have the ability to do anything. Go to the city. I can go to the country. I can do whatever I want. And so those people who feel broken or they need to rebuild, that's just their sign from life saying it's time to finally learn what you are. And that's where you begin your journey.
Yeah, of course. Would you give us maybe a simpler daily hack or practice that we can incorporate on our daily life, to make the deepest impact to our life and connect with ourselves?
100%. Yeah. So looking in the
Yeah,
mirror every day when you first rise, go to the mirror,
yeah,
look yourself in the pupil and dedicate yourself to yourself. Promise yourself that you're
yeah,
going to make every single moment count. Promise yourself that you're going to choose the best option for you. Promise, like, look yourself in the eyes, like a
yeah,
man, like a woman, like a person, like a human, like a spirit, like a being, like a god. You claim to be a
yeah,
god with your spirituality, right? Then look yourself in the eyes and promise to live like a god today, and do that every single day. And then by default, like, you will just start making better decisions for your life. And it becomes near effortless at that point.
yeah. But if humanity maybe collectively slow down for just 1 week, without any cell phones, no stimulations from outside world, no noise, what do you think people would finally be forced to confront within themselves?
You're a genius, my brother. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Um, how much they lack creativity. Like,
All right.
that's why. Okay, people ask me, man, why are there so many women with you? Like, why are you poly? Why all this stuff? Because I'm constantly creative. I'm constantly coming up with new games and new ideas. Like, every time somebody comes over, like I have a soccer ball here, and I'm on like the 7th level. I'll throw the soccer ball down to my friends, and they'll like kick it back up, and we'll just make up and invent new games. If there's no
Yeah.
cell phone that you rely on to show you creativity, you see how much you haven't been stepping in your creator position, and it really challenges you. Like, are you going to step up and use the energy? You ate food. Why did you eat food? Why did you drink water? Why did you go to sleep?
Yeah.
You don't even know. Like, well, I guess to go to work so I don't die. Why are you even alive? You're alive to create. So all those calories you ate or the liquids that you drunk or whatever is so you can have enough energy and a fuel source to create something and do something. So if cell phones and the internet went down, we'd see like this big void of how we haven't been creating in our life. And social media has taken the place of that. So we become docile. It's going to challenge
Yeah.
you to be more creative. That's how all the inventions were
Definitely.
made. People just like chose to believe, like, okay, like I got to do something.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Michael, unfortunately, we are coming to a closer of this wonderful conversation. Maybe as a final question, everything that comes after us, as I said, is our legacy. So maybe the question to you is the years from now. So when people look back at your life and messages that you give to them, what do you hope they truly understand about you? Beyond just the controversy, beyond just the fasting, and maybe the perception of life. So, what would be the message that you would give to the society?
I want to say this. I want to say Michael Ferguson did not fast. He is not fasting. Please eat. He's not telling you to fast.
Yes.
He is not fasting. This is not a fast. Please just eat. He's gone so many days without food, but he's not fasting. Like, I'm not engaging in restriction or anything else. I've just listened to my body so much I haven't got hungry yet. But that's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the first thing. I have people in my inbox daily saying, "All right, Mikey, I'm just like you. I'm doing a 7 day no food fast." I'm like, that's not what I preach. I preach the opposite. I say, eat as much as you want. So like, I definitely don't want people to fast. I don't believe in fasting. Fasting is self-sacrificing, it's self-detrimental, it's hurtful for the body. Because if I had a child and I loved that child, I wouldn't take from that child and not feed it. I'd feed that child everything it needs. So people, when their body is hungry and they have all these signals, they say, no, you're fat, or no, you're going to get sick, or no, all this other stuff. Instead of giving themselves, I'm the opposite. I give myself everything I want. Everything I want in life, I give it to me. And that's what's brought me to this level. I never restrict myself. I never use discipline. I never use force. I never use willpower. And that's why I have so much energy, because it takes a lot of energy to use willpower and force. Like, oh no, just 3 more days and my fast is over. I got this. I feel good. They'll lie to themselves like, I feel so good on the fast. And their face is like, I feel so good on it. This fast is awesome. But I'm like, you look like you're dying, bro. Just eat something. So like, I want people to know this. Love yourself. Stop hating yourself. You love yourself by knowing yourself. You hate yourself by not knowing yourself. When you actually know
Yeah.
yourself, you never have to fast again. You never have to biohack. You never have to do a detox. You never have to do a cleanse. You never have to do a parasite treatment. You never have to worry about fascia. All that stuff is just because you've been hating yourself. When you hate yourself, you get infected with parasites. When you hate yourself, you get sick. When you hate yourself, you get injured. But when you love yourself, you operate in this realm I call the harmonic state. And when you do that, I don't do fascia stuff. I don't do fasting stuff. I don't do biometric treatments or hacks or something like that. I just live. And then from that, my body has been expressed. I've gained muscle mass. I have a bunch of energy. My hair filled back in. I was bald. Like there was no hair here. This hair is filled back in. I had a bald spot here in the back. My hair grew back. I shave it to keep it short, but nonetheless, it's filled back in. I have my stubble back. That came because I love myself. Fasting is hating yourself. Working out or forcing yourself to work out, besides just freely moving because you want to move, is hating yourself. Being on a regimen or a discipline or a schedule is because you don't know yourself. When you know yourself,
Yeah.
you don't have to try to convince yourself or force yourself or time yourself or push yourself, because you're so in love with yourself. You just feel yourself. And guess what? When it's time to move, you just move. When it's time to sleep, you just sleep. When it's time to eat, you just eat. And that's what life was always supposed to be: the present engagement of the moment by truly hearing who and what you are. And whenever you do that, you have better results than those who have to take TRT or peptides or steroids or whatever to even get a fraction of
Yeah.
this power. This body was built by self awareness, which is just self love. And that's my message to you guys. Love yourself.
Yeah.
Eat.
Yeah. Well, Michael, I truly appreciate this conversation with you. I think what makes discussion like this very powerful is that they challenge people not only to rethink health or even performance, but to rethink the way they experience life itself. So whatever someone agrees with every idea or not, I think about this conversation. I think the conversation like this invites to reflection. And reflection is where transformation often begins. So I believe that is the message to everyone listening out there, that maybe the biggest message from this episode is that the human experience is far deeper than routine, than the distraction, and even the survival mode they are mostly live in. And perhaps real change begins the moment we become conscious of how we breathe, how we think, how we consume, and how we live each day. So, Michael, thank you for this and sharing your experience, your expertise, your philosophy and perspectives within us today. I learned a lot from you, my friend.
I love you so much. Thank you so much, Ivan, for having me here, and bless you and your audience, my
Thank you. Thank you so much. So till the next time, my friends, let's get moving and stay healthy. So, Mike.